You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
You are listening to the Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, May 14th show. You can also listen to my podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on my show YouTube channel. In addition, for more upcoming events, you can go to TinaMitchellEvents.com. And I am Tina Mitchell, your host and your local mortgage expert. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. And now in studio, Elise Enriquez of Elise Enriquez Productivity Coaching, moving productivity beyond to-do list, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Elise, welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be back.
I know, it's so good to be back. And as I shared at the beginning of the show, the last time that I had you in studio, we were actually in person in Hubbard's. So first time that I've had you back on my virtual show. And I know there's been a lot of changes in your business. So excited for you to share with my listeners.
Absolutely. Smooth as silk so far, you guys. Way to go on a great virtual show.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. From a productivity coach, especially, that means a lot. So, Lisa, how did you come to focus on your coaching productivity? We talked a little bit about the, the story behind it. Share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so there was my own story behind it in terms of my divorce and figuring out like, okay, I got to get my stuff together, right? But what was happening at the same time is I had been working with clients for years on uncovering their purpose, their values, their vision, all of these higher level things. And I was encountering people that just could not see that level of their life at all. And I couldn't figure it out. And finally, I realized they are so overwhelmed by their day-to-day that they cannot lift their vision above tomorrow or even the next hour sometimes. Or I remember doing a presentation where I said something about, what does life look like 3 years from now? And they were like, how about 3 days from now? Yeah. And I just kept kind of hearing that. I was just like, okay, wait, what's going on here? And realized that we can't get people being their best when they're so bogged down by their day-to-day.
Yeah, again, it's removing that emotional space so you have the space for something else other than a stress attached to the fact that you're not running the highest productivity or the highest efficiency in your business model. It really is a beautiful thing. And what you do is help people with their productivity, but the real why behind it is so that they can actually have a better quality of life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the whole point. What's the point of freeing up time if you're just going to work more?
Exactly. That's no fun.
Yeah.
So, Elise, what would you say to people who say productivity is about getting things done? Would that be your definition?
It used to be. Do you know what? It used to be my tagline. My tagline for my business used to say, "Get things done."
Oh yeah, wow.
It was. It totally was, and it's because it's satisfying to check things off a list, right? I don't like some personalities like doing that more than others, but I love checking things off a list. But what I realize is that we can really numb ourselves being busy. Yeah. And that's it. We can be doing a lot of busy work and not moving forward the things that actually matter most to us. And so to me, productivity and the way I train it is that productivity is about moving forward what matters most while still remaining present to the people, experiences, and opportunities around you. And so when you can free up that space in your life and have a place to kind of hold everything so that when I'm with you, I can just be with you, Tina. Like my brain and my body are in the same place right now. Instead of thinking of all the things I should be doing at home and all the things I should be doing at work. No, I've got something that's holding all of that so I can actually be present. And that when an opportunity arises, I can say, do I have the resources and ability to do that? You were just talking about with Doug Peterson in the last segment about really having a spending plan for your money. What I help people do is to have that spending plan for their time, to say, this is the time you have. How about you be more intentional about using it? So to me, that's what productivity is really about.
Yeah, that is great. So you can capture the greatness, you can release it and know it's in a safe place so that you can get on with this moment right now and this second, embracing it. That's beautiful. So how do people know that they need help with their productivity?
Well, one of the clues is something I already mentioned, which is that inability to see further than tomorrow or next week or maybe even the end of the month. When your vision gets way cloudy and you're feeling this kind of stress and overwhelm, that's a big sign. But it's especially not being able to see that big picture view for yourself is a big sign. But the other is where you're getting to the end of your day feeling bad about what didn't get done, right? It's just like, oh, I can never get everything done. Oh, and it's just this constant stress and worry about the things that didn't get done. And I think that when you're doing productivity well, or at least the way I like to do it and help people do it, is that you feel good at the end of the day, just as good about what got done as what didn't get done. I think that's critically important. And if you don't feel that way, then it's time to take a look at what's going on with productivity and how to improve it for yourself.
Well, wouldn't you agree too, Elise, if you have no productivity skills, they need you. If you have some productivity skills, you can level up. And if they feel that they've mastered at productivity skills, there's always room to take it to an even higher level, right? So
absolutely.
And that's what's really exciting about coaching. And we look at the best of the best in anything that they're doing. The best of the best have coaches because it's helping them to level up. So if you're listening to the show and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word productivity, you need Elise. And if you feel that you've got control and you may not need her, you do, because she can help you level it up and take it to that next level. And if you feel that you've mastered it, you're never a master at anything. So having somebody external outside of your business that can look in, because you already have it at a level that you've got that emotional space to bring in more, that Elise can help you take it to an even higher level.
And let me just say that applies to me too, right? So even though I consider myself masterful in productivity, I'm constantly learning and experimenting and improving as well. So it just happens to be like, I'm a dork for this stuff, so I'm never going to be done growing here. And so if you're a fellow dork, definitely come join me. We'll dork out together.
I love that. Let's go dork out together.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. So Elise, I've heard you talk about bonus brain before. So what the heck is that?
You described it really well earlier, actually. You said it's nice to have that place where you can capture that brilliance, capture that opportunity, capture that idea, and know that it's safe and come back to the present again, because this is all we get is this moment that I have with you right now is my only real existence right now, right? In this moment. You guys will listen to it later in a recording possibly, but right now this is all Tina and I have.
And that'll be their moment and they want to make sure they're maximizing it, right?
Exactly. We want you to be listening to what we're saying. So everybody driving, come back to us right now and listen instead of thinking about all the stuff you're not getting done. So when you have a bonus brain, what it can do is hold anything that needs to be remembered, right? Anything that needs to be referenced so that you can let it go. I always joke around that our brains are the worst storage and reminder devices out there. And all you have to do, there's two things for me to prove this to you. One is you probably have a calendar. Calendar is probably the most common productivity device out there. Whether or not people use it well is a whole different thing. But it's probably one of the most common productivity tools out there. And they've been around forever and ever, beginning of time, practically, human time, practically. So there's that proof. But the other proof is go to the store and remember that you need bread. That's not when your brain tells you need bread. Your brain tells you need bread when you're driving home from the store, right? So your brain is the least reliable reminder device. And so having what I call the bonus brain, and that's, a combination of a task list, a calendar, a reference system, and gathering points, having those in place frees up your brain to be present, creative, strategic, and just more calm and in control.
Yeah, another example, I'm a big camper. Just think if you were to go camping and you didn't have a checklist. I mean, who does that? Who would go camping and not check things off of their list? But they do their business without having that checklist, which so again, being able to bring that in to have that aha moment on the importance of having what Elise talks about, your bonus brain. So Elise, you talk a lot about simple systems. What do you mean by that? What simple systems?
Yeah, I talk a lot about systems, and when people hear systems, I worry that and I know because people tell me this, they think of these really complex things, right? They think of big CRMs, or they think of big process flows, or they think of all these things. And to me, a regular meeting is a simple system. right? Doug Peterson actually talks about this, your guest in the last segment. Doug is brilliant about this. He got my wife and I doing a family meeting every single week. It has changed everything for us to just have a weekly meeting, just her and I together, where throughout the week we're tossing stuff into our bonus brain that we want to talk about on Friday. It minimizes our interruptions throughout the day. We both work from home, right? It minimizes our interruptions throughout the day. It allows us to not lose track of things. And we just have this regular meeting. That is such a simple system to have in place. A checklist is a simple system.
Yes.
A spreadsheet is a simple system. Things do not have to be complex in order to be systems or in order to be effective. I always say, start with what you got.
Yeah. And wouldn't you agree? It's not just the simple systems, it's creating a different habit, a habit to doing something differently. And that's what you as a productivity coach can do, is help guide them through the process. Same thing with Doug, is helping you with your cash flow. It's having something that can advise, keep you accountable, give you the best and the easiest way to get there, but to really help you create a better habit that's going to serve you at a much higher level.
And the visibility. So that's one of the biggest things that both Doug and I do for our clients. Doug gives visibility to the resource of money. I give visibility to the resource of time. But to be able to make sure that you have visibility to that resource, and then, like you said, have the habit of reviewing that on a regular basis, brings peace and calm and is really empowering.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about technology, because obviously technology has a factor and fits into productivity. What do you say on how technology comes in?
I had a client a couple months ago say, Elise, you have an app for everything. And I am like, truly like, there's an app for that person, kind of person. And there are lots of apps. There are lots of tools out there. As I said earlier, I really am a big fan of starting with what you have. So if you go and invest thousands of dollars in a CRM and you've never thought about, so a client relationship or customer relationship management system, if you have never thought about what you want your client experience to be or what you want your experience to be in serving your clients, you have no right to be investing thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars or even $99 a month in some sort of big system. The best thing you can do when it comes to technology is to get really clear, established models and standards in place for what you want your clients to experience in their work with you and what you want to experience in serving them. And then look for the tools to support you in making that happen. And again, start with what you have. If that needs to be a spreadsheet, if that needs to be simple checklists, that's fine. And you push those until they either break because you need more, you need them to do more, or because you've scaled so much that you have so many clients that you can't do that anymore. That's when you go invest in the technology. But get your processes down first. Get your standards in terms of service for yourself and your clients down first before you invest in technology.
Yeah, great advice. Work small, work with what you have, work small, and build up as your need and as the space that you have to take it to that next level. So Elise, how do you keep it up once you get your systems together? How do you keep them all together?
Yeah, it is the habit part. This is the part that takes the longest. And you were talking about that with your programs too, of it's one thing to teach everybody what to do. It's another thing to support them in keeping it up. And so being able to have something in place to support people and continuing their productivity path is really important. So while I have a program to teach people productivity, it's a 6-week program, I have a whole ongoing program where they can continue that work, where we get together on a regular basis and we can make sure their bonus brains are tuned up and working well for them, because that's the part that matters. The weekly meeting that Doug has us do, right? That's the stuff that matters. You get it set up. That's not as hard. It's keeping it going that matters the most. And so that's what's critical is to maintain your system, to stay engaged with it in order to let it support you, because otherwise, what's the point? You can put everything in a bonus brain, but if you never look at it, why did you build it?
Yeah, there you go. Great a great shout out there. So as I'm wrapping up my time with you, Lisa, in our last minute, you consider yourself as a system dork. Love that.
Yes.
But who do you get help from when you need it?
Yeah. Whether it is other systems people, like I'm a big fan of podcasts, audiobooks, other books out there. I have a therapist, I have a coach, I have mentors, I belong to communities. But one of the biggest things that's helpful to me is being around other people who are doing what I'm doing, being around other, not only having the mentorship, but also having a community to be a part of, other people who are in it and doing it as well. And that's what been one of the biggest things to support me. So what I encourage people to do is make sure that whatever it is you're trying to do, don't only find the coach and mentor that's done that before, but also find the community that you can belong to that's going to carry you through. Because it's just as helpful to have those peers around you that are trying everything out and giving you ideas too. It's really fun and it's very empowering. And on those hard days, it's really supportive.
Yeah, well, great advice. Lise, thank you so much again for coming back in studio, virtual studio this time, and sharing your expertise with my listeners. I really appreciate it.
So glad to be here. Thanks so much.